Hello everyone. The Anglo-Saxon kingdoms, England before the Vikings, before the Viking invasions, and before England became a united kingdom. The land was divided into powerful Anglo-Saxon realms. In the 7th century, warrior kings battled for dominance. Christianity reshaped society, and the foundations of England were forged in blood and ambition. This is the story of the forgotten rulers who shaped a nation before it even existed. Before the Vikings burned English shores, before Alfred the Great defended the realm, 7 rival kingdoms fought for power in a land that wasn't yet called England. This was the age of warrior kings, shifting alliances, and the birth of a nation. In the 7th century, England did not exist. There was no single crown, no unified kingdom, no national identity. Instead, the land was divided into 7 major Anglo-Saxon kingdoms, a period historians call the Heptarchy. Northumbria ruled the north. Mercia dominated the Midlands. Wessex, Sussex, and Essex controlled the south. East Anglia and Kent held the east. These kingdoms were born from the collapse of Roman Britain, when Roman legions withdrew in the 5th century. Germanic tribes, Angles, Saxons, and Jutes migrated across the North Sea and carved out their own territories. By the 600s, their settlements had evolved into organized warrior states. Power meant land. Land meant survival, and survival meant war. Kings were not distant rulers in stone castles. They were war leaders. They fought beside their men. Their authority depended on loyalty, and loyalty depended on victory. One of the most powerful kingdoms of the early 7th century was Northumbria. Under King Edwin, Northumbria expanded aggressively. But Edwin's reign was not only about conquest, it marked a turning point in religion. In 627 AD, Edwin converted to Christianity. This decision reshaped England forever. Christian missionaries from Rome and Ireland began spreading across the kingdoms. Monasteries were built. Churches rose where pagan temples once stood. Religion became more than belief. It became political power. A Christian king gained legitimacy. He gained alliances with other Christian rulers across Europe, and he gained literacy. Monasteries became centers of learning. Latin writing spread. Law codes were recorded. History itself began to be written down. But conversion did not bring peace. Northumbria soon fell into internal conflict. Rival claimants battled for the throne. Kings rose and died quickly. Meanwhile, another kingdom was rising. Mercia, located in the heart of England. Mercia had strategic advantages. Its rulers were ambitious and ruthless. King Penda of Mercia became one of the most feared rulers of the century. Interestingly, Penda remained pagan, while many neighboring kings converted to Christianity. He defeated Northumbrian kings. He expanded Morea influence dramatically, and for a time, Mercia dominated much of southern England. The 7th century was defined by instability. Borders shifted constantly. Alliances were temporary. Marriage was a political tool. Assassination was common, yet amid the violence, something larger was forming. A shared culture. The Anglo-Saxon kingdoms spoke related languages. They shared warrior traditions. They developed similar legal systems. Christianity slowly unified their worldview. Trade expanded. Craftsmanship improved. Art flourished, intricate metalwork, illuminated manuscripts, and religious carvings. One of the greatest cultural achievements of this era would come slightly later. The Venerable Bede. For the first time, the people of these rival kingdoms were described collectively as the English. That idea, the English began here, not through unity, but through rivalry. Wessex, at this time, was not yet dominant. It was one kingdom among many, but its survival through decades of conflict positioned it for future greatness. The 7th century did not produce a united England, but it created the conditions for one. It built political systems. It strengthened royal authority. It connected the island to Christian Europe, and it forged a warrior culture that would later face the Viking invasions. When the Vikings arrived in the late 8th century, they did not find scattered tribes. They found kingdoms, organized, militarized, ambitious. The struggle between these Anglo-Saxon realms shaped the battlefield the Vikings would later enter. So when we think of English history, we often begin with Alfred the Great. But Alfred's story would not have been possible without the chaotic, violent, transformative 7th century. Before England had a crown, before it had a single ruler, it had warrior kings fighting for dominance in a divided land. And from that division, a nation slowly emerged. Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more epic stories.